Hey friends, I'm not feeling too well today. I think I have a cold. Well, I guess it's a good time to tell you about what causes cold and many other such diseases. Sorry. And that's why we'll talk about virus. Human. You know that a bacterium is a very tiny organism, right? Well, a virus is so small that it's invisible to even a bacterium. This is how it is able to infect the tiny bacterium and the cells in our bodies. Unlike the bacterium, the virus has no cytoplasm or a nucleus or anything resembling a cell. It has a very basic structure of the DNA covered by an outer protein shell and some fats. That's why viruses can't even be considered organisms at all. They are not actually living. They float around like debris in space, waiting to contact a host. And only once they enter a host can they reproduce. This is where the true terror of viruses is seen. Once inside, these little fellas hijack the cells of the organism by entering through the cell membrane. Once they do, the virus takes over the protein-building structures of the host cell and forces them to replicate the virus instead. The poor cell unknowingly begins manufacturing an army of the virus till the entire cell is infected. This poor mindless slave cell does this till it explodes, releasing all the virus to infect the nearby cells. And that's how an infection spreads. That's why I got sick. But don't worry, your bodies are super smart when it comes to saving you. Every time we fall ill with a virus, the body makes a special cell called a memory cell. This cell stores all the information about the virus and how it was defeated, so that the next time the virus attacks, your body's defense is ready to destroy it. Trivia time! Did you know that even antibiotics don't work on viruses? Because antibiotics are designed to fight bacteria. In your body, the most common viruses are actually bacteriophages that infect and destroy bacteria. Oh, ouch! I think I have a cold again. Well, kids, before I go, what's the common virus in our body that destroys bacteria? Oh, and here's hoping I feel better soon, so that I can keep bringing you so much fun and interesting facts. Until next time, this is me zooming out. Oh no. Oh, hello, Mr. Bat. You seem worried. How can I help you? I understand, Mr. Bat. You can stay here as long as you want. Oh, you're welcome, my little friend. Now go and eat something. The food is in the kitchen. Oh, it's sad that Bat has to go through all this. I wish things will get back to normal soon. Oh, hello, friends. You must be wondering from what that bat was running away and why he seemed so afraid. Well, that's because in recent times, bats have been accused of being responsible for spreading a new form of infectious disease called Nipah virus infection. What is it? To know more about Nipah virus, let's zoom in. According to WHO, Nipah virus infection is a newly emerging zoonosis. It means a disease which can be spread to humans from animals. The first outbreak of NIV occurred in a place called Kampung Sungai Nipah in Malaysia in the year 1998. And on this occasion, pigs were held responsible for it. But in recent cases in southern India, bats are identified as the source of this outbreak. And that's the reason Mr. Bat has to hide from humans, my friends. Oh, poor Mr. Bat. It's not entirely his fault, because the real culprit behind this infectious disease is a virus called Nipah virus, a kind of RNA virus that is naturally found in fruit bats, also known as flying foxes, and in several other species of bats. So, how do bats spread this infection to humans? Well, these bats don't bite people and generally stay miles away from human contact. But the problem occurs when a bat bites a fruit. The fruit gets infected by the Nipah virus present in the bat's saliva, resulting in spreading the disease in the person or livestock consuming the same fruit. These viruses do not make the bats sick, but in humans, it can cause a deadly infection, and the symptoms for which are fever, headache, drowsiness that can lead to mental confusion. These symptoms can further progress into a coma within 48 hours. Other potential threats caused during this infection is inflammation of the brain and respiratory illness that can be fatal to humans. Trivia time! Do you know that currently there are no vaccines available against Nipah virus? So, in the absence of a vaccine, the only way to overcome or prevent NIV in people is by making them aware of the risk involved and educating them about the steps they can take to minimize exposure to the Nipah virus. Small steps such as we should thoroughly wash and peel the fruits before consumption, and fruits with a mark of bat bites should be avoided at any cost. Also, it's suggested to limit our contact with bats is one of the ways to prevent this infectious disease. But it really isn't their fault. It's humans that are crawling into the bats' territory. They are not coming to our house, but we are entering their homes. Except in this case. Oh, no thanks, I'm good. Alright friends, hope this information will help you to deal with this fatal disease, and do not forget to share it with your friends. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out. Hey kitty, get ready quickly. It's an emergency. We need to visit China.
China?
Yes, little kitty. People there are suffering from a new deadly outbreak caused by coronavirus. And I have been called there to research it. Hey friends, I'm sure since the past few weeks, you have heard a lot about this new disease called coronavirus. So in today's episode, let us try to explore what exactly this virus is. What are the causes, symptoms, and measures we need to take to stay safe from this illness called coronavirus? Zoom in! Hey friends, by now, most of us are aware of the outbreak of the disease started in Wuhan, China, caused by a new species of virus called novel coronavirus. They belong to a member of the coronavirus family that was first identified in the 1960s. They are responsible for causing a range of diseases in humans, including the common cold and more severe and life-threatening forms like SARS and MERS. But the crucial question is, how did the recent outbreak occur? Well, like other coronaviruses, it has come from animals too and is a form of zoonotic disease. Many of those infected patients either worked or frequently shopped in the Wuhan seafood wholesale market in the center of the Chinese city, which sells meat and live animals. It is believed that the virus might have been transmitted through direct contact between humans and animals, either by touching those animals or consuming them. And it can also spread via the air like other cold-causing viruses. However, unfortunately, the actual source of this disease isn't confirmed yet, and scientists are still trying to figure it out. But what we know so far is its symptoms and how it affects humans. Yes, a person infected from this disease may suffer from dry cough, mild fever, and breathing issues, which may go unnoticed at first. But as the virus spreads its legs inside the person's body, the patient might develop a severe case of viral pneumonia, an infection that inflames the air sacs in the lungs and can cause them to fill with fluid or pus and needs immediate medical attention. Also, it is believed that these viruses are more likely to infect older people and those with a weak immune system that find it hard to fight these notorious viruses. But is there any way to treat this disease? Well, unfortunately, all this is a very new illness. No treatment for it is available so far. And because it is a virus, antibiotics won't work against it. Now, here comes the most crucial question. What can we do to stop this outbreak? Well, it is always advisable to practice good hygiene and caution by avoiding close contact with individuals suffering from acute respiratory infections or wild animals or livestock, dead or alive. Also, it would be best if you wash your hands with warm and soapy water regularly, especially after being in direct contact with an infected person. And if you find any of the mentioned symptoms, do visit your doctor ASAP. Trivia time! Did you know the virus is named after its shape, which takes the form of a crown with protrusions around it, and hence is known as coronavirus. Also, the full name of the current form of coronavirus under outbreak is the 2019 novel coronavirus, or 2019 nCoV. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out. Never mind. Zika virus is a worrying thing, my dearies. But don't you worry, because I'm here to tell you all about it so that you stay safe and healthy. Come, what are you waiting for, huh? Zoom in! The Zika virus disease was first identified in 1947 in rhesus monkeys in Uganda, and then it was subsequently identified in humans as well. And now it has spread all over in Africa, America, Asia, and the Pacific. This virus is transmitted to people through the bite of an infected mosquito. This could be the same mosquito that transmits dengue, chikungunya, and yellow fever. The early symptoms of this disease are fever, skin rashes, conjunctivitis, muscle pain, joint pain, and headache, which are usually mild and last for 2 to 7 days. Well, now comes the serious part. Do you know that the Zika virus also causes the much dreaded disease called microcephaly? Never heard of that before, right? Don't you worry, I'll tell you. Microcephaly is a condition where the baby's head is much smaller than expected, which can later lead to complications such as dwarfism, seizures, delayed speech and movements. If a mother is infected with the Zika virus during a pregnancy, her baby is likely to be born with microcephaly, and that could be quite dangerous. But hey, don't you worry, because all you need to do is keep your surroundings free of mosquitoes. Wear long-sleeve shirts and long pants to stay away from mosquito bites, as we all know that prevention is better than cure. Trivia time! Zika is mainly carried by a specific type of mosquito called Aedes aegypti. There is no vaccine against the Zika virus yet. But don't worry, scientists are trying their best to find one. So friends, squat the menacing mosquitoes around and stay safe. This is me zooming out. Tune in next time for more fun facts. Whoa! Oh, poor little doggy. He seems to be very, very sick. I feel he's suffering from a deadly disease called rabies. Hey friends, I'm sure you must have heard stories about this terrifying disease we call rabies and must be having so many questions about it. So, in today's episode, let us explore this notorious question. What causes rabies? Zoom in! Hey friends, as soon as we hear the term rabies, we immediately picture an overly aggressive dog, drooling and foaming at the mouth, acting weirdly and ready to bite you. Although it's important to stay away from such an infected animal, but before we blame them for their sick condition, we need to look deeper into the diseased animal's brain to find the real culprit, a tiny, whiny, mind-altering germ called Rabies Virus. When an infected animal bites another animal, the Rabies Virus quickly finds a way through the nerves into the brain, where it causes inflammation of the brain and increases the production of rabies-infected saliva. That makes the animal drool continuously, making it hard to drink or swallow food and water, ultimately causing hydrophobia, meaning the fear of water. The infected animal becomes so irritated and hostile that it feels like biting other animals and people, resulting in spreading the rabies virus. And remember, my friends, rabies is a zoonotic disease, meaning it can spread through animals to humans. So, if you or someone you know is exposed to the rabies virus through a bite or scratch, it is often advisable that the person should quickly wash any bites and scratches for 5 to 15 minutes with soapy water or detergent. This will help to minimize the number of viral particles. And after that, make sure you don't take any chances and visit your doctor as soon as you can. And here is good news. Though rabies is a dangerous disease, it is 100% preventable. Yes, just make sure that all your pets and domestic animals receive regular anti-rabies vaccinations. And people who have been bitten can receive vaccines to fight the disease. Trivia time! Did you know any mammal can get rabies? It can only be passed to another animal or a person through saliva. You cannot get this disease from the blood. Also, rabies got its name from a Latin word that means to rage. That's because animals with rabies sometimes act as if they are angry. You won't believe it, but virtually all infections with rabies resulted in death until two French scientists, Louis Pasteur and Émile Roux, developed the first rabies vaccination in 1885. It's question time! In which year did Louis Pasteur and Émile Roux develop the first rabies vaccination? Do write your answer in the comment section below and hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't yet to be a part of the Peekaboo Kidz cutesy-wutesy family and get a chance to get it featured by the end of our videos. So, here are the winners of the previous episode. Remember, my friends, rabies is a severe and deadly disease, and unfortunately, the wild and stray animals have not much control over it. So, it's our duty and responsibility to make sure that we identify such animals, spread awareness amongst our family and friends, and try to stay away from any such infected mammal, and call an animal control person or an animal rescue group to rescue and help them safely. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out. Oh, never mind.
Oh, poor birdie. It seems to be suffering from a disease called bird flu.
What's that?
That's a pretty important question, little kitty, as this disease is once again spreading its wings across many regions, especially in the subcontinent. Hey friends, so in today's episode, let us learn about this lesser-known pandemic and answer a crucial question. What is bird flu? Zoom in! So, what is bird flu? Bird flu, also known as avian influenza or H5N1, refers to a highly contagious infection of birds caused by influenza type A viruses. These viruses occur naturally among aquatic and migratory birds, which can spread in other birds and animal species. Yes, when the wild aquatic birds get infected with influenza A, they carry these viruses in their intestines and respiratory tract that can shed through their saliva and feces. And when domesticated birds like chickens, ducks and turkey come in contact with these infected droppings, the viruses take this opportunity to jump into the new host, eventually making them sick. But the future of the infected bird depends upon the type of virus they have been infected with. Yes, avian influenza A viruses are classified into two categories, namely low pathogenic avian influenza or LPAI-A viruses and highly pathogenic avian influenza HPAI-A viruses. Infection of poultry animals with LPAI viruses may cause no disease or mild illness and may only cause mild signs such as ruffled feathers and a drop in egg production, and in some cases may not be detected. However, an infection caused by HPAI viruses can lead to severe diseases and can be fatal for these hapless birdies. I know what you are thinking. Can it affect humans too? Well, bird flu is a zoonotic disease, meaning it can spread from animals to humans, and human infections with bird flu viruses can happen when enough virus gets into the person's eyes, nose or mouth. This can occur when the virus is in the air or dust and a person inhales it, or when a person touches something that has the virus on it, then touches their mouth, eyes or nose. But fortunately, there have been only a few cases of human-to-human transmission. And as long as the bird flu virus doesn't change into a human flu virus, it won't spread far in people. But sometimes, after close personal contact, a person who gets bird flu does infect another person. So, it is essential to be aware of its symptoms to identify and prevent this flu from spreading. And what are the symptoms? Well, a person suffering from bird flu may show symptoms like fever, cough, sore throat, and sometimes abdominal pain and diarrhea. And if left untreated, it can lead to severe respiratory illness such as pneumonia and acute respiratory syndrome. But the vital question is, how can we prevent bird flu from spreading? Well, currently, the best way to prevent bird flu viruses is by avoiding sources of exposure such as poultry farms, meat markets, and other places where live poultry are raised or sold. Besides this, make sure to cook the poultry products properly. Always maintain proper hygiene by washing your hands and using a hand sanitizer. And in case you see any of the signs after getting in touch with a sick or dead bird, do visit your doctor ASAP. Trivia time! Did you know the first case of H5N1 was detected in Hong Kong in the year 1997? Also, in case the virus mutates and becomes easily transmissible, it can potentially cause a pandemic. And if you want to know more about how pandemics spread, do watch our video on the same topic. The link is in the description below. Hope you learned something new in today's episode. Until next time, it's me, Dr. Binocs, zooming out. Never mind.